Alright, so the map says if you follow this, you get to... Wow! Look at that! Can you believe that? Kinbasket Lake. Very, very gorgeous. All times of year, including, well, apparently Mother Nature decided exactly when producer Zach and I would visit. This is what happens when you follow the map that they give you at the Tourism Valemount Visitor Information Center. You just got to come try it for yourself. Visit Valemount. You got to let the mountains move you. It's in the middle of everywhere, okay? Don't listen to me, though. Just look for your eyes. Look for yourself. I think it's time to grab a coffee. We're going to do that and so much more on CKPG Today. Welcome inside of Vale Coffee here in Valemount, British Columbia. Beautiful spot, and there's a lot going on in this little coffee shop here in Valemount because, well, honestly, the founders, you guys started it all. There's 4 of you, Megan?
There's 4, yeah.
Okay, and you guys are 5 years old now here in Valemount. Tell me a little bit about Vale Coffee and what it's all about.
I mean, Vale Coffee, so we're a small batch coffee roaster. We also have a cafe. We're located right in the middle of Valemount. Yeah, we started this business up because there wasn't a great specialty coffee place to go in Valemount, and it's something that we really wanted to have to be able to go to when we had a day off or whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, so we kind of filled a niche that wasn't really here in Valemount.
I like it, and it's pretty successful. Talk to me a little bit about, you guys got a roasting day, and then you got a lot of serving days as well, but what is the vibe, what is the kind of coffee that you guys specialize in?
Yes, so we source all our coffee from all over the world. We work with a couple of distributors out of Vancouver, Delta area, and they are direct traders, so they work directly with the farms all over the world. So Central America, South America, Indonesia, Africa, I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2. Basically we work with them to choose good lots and good varieties, and they have recommendations sometimes, or we hear from various people in various ways of different types of coffee we want to try. And we try to just kind of pick a nice variety of things from different places in the world that roast well as espresso or dark roast or light or medium roast.
So you got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and these beans come here and you guys roast them here too?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the big, so this actually behind us here, this is the old roaster?
That's our old roaster. That's what we started on. We used that for about the first 2 years. It's a great roaster. It's been retrofitted so you can hook it up to the computer programs.
Okay.
But it's quite manual, and it requires quite a bit of knowledge compared to our new one, which we'll see in a minute here.
Okay.
But it's a great machine, and it got us going. And
nice.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most popular cup of coffee here in Valemount?
I mean, like bean variety.
Yeah.
I think our best seller always is the Guatemala blend. It's kind of like, the flavor notes are like milk, chocolate, and almond. It's just like it's not too dark, it's not too light. It's like middle of the road, flavorful, classic. And in Valemount, people, I think the general population aren't into super light roasts or anything too fruity or crazy, but they like just a classic brew. Just
like the cup of joe. Okay, well, it all starts with the beans, so I say let's go check it out. What do you say?
All right.
Let's go see the beans. The bean counter. Is Matt the bean counter? I guess
Sure.
kind of. All right, now time to count the beans. How many do you count here, Megan? I'm kidding, I won't make you do that. But there's lots of beans here at Vale Coffee, and this is part where they do the roasting. Now tell me a little bit of what's going on back here. This is a fancy roasting machine.
Yeah, this is a beautiful machine that we got a little over 2 years ago, I think. It was an upgrade from our old one, big time. It's a lot more automated. It also has a different heating mechanism, so it's a convection heat instead of open flame propane.
Okay.
And it's just like a really slick machine where there's not a lot of there's not a lot of like bad exhaust that comes out. It burns it all off really well.
Cool.
And it's also just super efficient compared to the old style machine. So it's a much like greener machine. Even though it's 3 times the capacity, it uses significantly less energy than our old one.
Interesting.
So,
okay, so how it works, you guys get the beans here, they go in there, and then they come out. That's what Matt's doing over there.
yeah, so basically these are, each bucket here is a batch. So it's a type, so this is a decaf. This will be a batch of decaf. This will be a batch of Monday grind, a batch of Peru. So it's basically the maximum amount that can go into the machine at a time.
Right.
And it gets sucked up through this vacuum
Okay.
into the hopper. And then when it's ready, the beans release down into the main drum where it gets roasted. So there's a batch in there right now.
Yep.
It's starting to turn yellow, so you can see like this is the starting color. This is kind of the midpoint, and then it will be like your classic brown coffee when it's done. And yeah, this when it's ready, when the end temperature has been hit, this door will open automatically, and this is our cooling tray. They dump into the tray and cool right away, so it stops the cooking process. And then once it's cooled, it gets released down into here. This tube here has a little thing called a destoner.
Okay.
So coffee is an agricultural product. It comes from all over the world, and it often has foreign objects in it. Even like little tiny beetles, or a little kernel of corn, or a little rock.
Okay, I need that for my pot when I make popcorn.
Yeah, and this separates out anything that isn't a proper coffee bean.
Oh, cool.
Or if one was roasted too dark or too light, it also separates out that. And it sucks it up into the second hopper, and this is our bagging machine. So then what Maddie's doing right now is he's bagging up into our final bags. And it's all kind of automated where it's got a little pedal. You set it up for what size bag you have, and it pops out exactly that many grams.
Wow. Cool. It's a busy place back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Look at this Vale Coffee, beautiful. Smells good.
Yeah.
Sounds cool, it looks cool. Inside where some of the magic's happening here at Spruce City Wildlife Association. And Dustin, now tell me a little bit about these fish we got in front of us here today.
So we were out in Valemount last summer, late August, did our brood capture there, collected the eggs. We've got about 9,000 fish here, brought the eggs back to the hatchery, fertilized them, and here we are today. We've got about 8,800 fry, and we're about 1.7 grams right now. We're probably going to be releasing around the 2.2 gram mark.
Wow, okay, and tell me a little bit about what's different this year. These are going to get a little bigger than usual for a special purpose.
So yeah, so these fish are going to get what's called a coated wire tag. It's a tiny little tag that gets inserted in their nose. And then what we'll do is we're going to be clipping off their adipose fin. That way, if they get caught in any fisheries or intercepted anywhere, the head will then get sent to the Department of Fisheries. And that tiny little tag has a number on it that will tell the Department of Fisheries that that fish came from this hatchery and when it was released.
Of course, where we are today, there's a bunch of different subspecies of salmon growing here. What is unique about the Swift Creek one? Is it bigger than the other ones? Is it different in any way?
It is, yeah. So the Swift Creek Chinook have probably one of the longest, no, not probably, they do have one of the longest runs in the entire Fraser. You think about having to swim all the way upstream from Vancouver to Mount Robson, that's quite a journey. So these fish, they're just engineered differently to have higher fat reserves and that sort of stuff, so that once they hit that freshwater river, they don't eat it all. So they've got to swim on just what they've got left in their, kind of the gas that's left in the tank.
You know, it's funny, Dustin, I wouldn't even consider driving from Vancouver to Mount Robson in one day. Like, that seems too long. So I couldn't imagine swimming and what's that's like.
Yeah, no, definitely. And all the stuff that they encounter as well, right? There's things that happened a few years ago, like Big Bar, there's Hell's Gate, and then just the regular predators, eagles, bears, people, everything they encounter along the way.
So out of these thousands of fish, what is the survival rate? I know it's very tough for salmon to actually make it back, but
If we were to get a 3 to 5% survival, we'd be really pleased with that.
and in 4 years?
5-year life cycle. But yeah, and again, too, these guys have a bit of a better chance because we've taken all the predation and a bunch of the disease risk and whatnot out of their life cycle by bringing them into the hatchery. So egg to fry survival in the wild is a lot lower than it is in the hatchery.
Oh, interesting. The facts you learn here at the Spruce City Wildlife Association. I feel like we should probably head to Valemount and learn the rest of the facts here to complete this story. Thanks so much for your time today, Dustin.
Thank you very much for coming.
And those salmon you're just seeing on your screen are coming right here to Swift Creek in Valemount for a pretty cool initiative. This is a community-led one, and it's been going on for a number of years as well with the Spruce City Wildlife Association. Marcy, tell me a little bit about the salmon release you guys got planned.
We're going to have a barbecue, BC Parks will be here, and a few other vendors as well. So it's a great time to come out and learn more about Spruce City Wildlife. SIMF will be here as well. There'll be some presentations, a big welcome from our mayor. And we launch those, and everybody gets an opportunity to do that themselves. They get to send the little salmon down the little slippery slide right into the creek here, and to be a part of, helping these salmon return back.
Yeah. And you know what? It is hard to believe for people when you go to, the falls in the area or Swift Creek here. The salmon make it back.
They do. They come a long way. It's over 3,000 kilometers that they swim to Pacific Ocean and to come back.
I think Rearguard Falls is the furthest west or east that they go, right? Like we're right kind of up neck with that.
It is, and it's only about 15 minutes from here, so it's a really cool thing for people to come out and see. In about September, the salmon are there trying to get over, and it's the largest, biggest ones that make it that far, and that's as far as they go. So it's kind of neat to see them. You got to be patient with it though, because it's not like it's on cue.
Yeah, it's not like they show in the National Geographic movies, but you could see them. Speaking of the salmon and that jumping, and I mean, there's a whole bunch of events between now and then as well. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on. Valemount Day is coming up as well.
Yes, that's coming up on June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Great time to come out. There's a parade. There'll be a car show. There's also going to be a lot of activities going on, bouncy castles, and it's all free. So it's a great time for families to come out for the weekend. There's also going to be a ball tournament as well. There's also another really cool event. It is the Rocky Mountain Speedway. Their races are that weekend. They're actually opening up again here May 23rd. So that's a great time to come and check it out. Stay for a few days in Valemount. And then there's also the Bike Fest, which is happening too. That you need to go onto ridevalemount.com to check that out and to get tickets for that. They sell out pretty quick though.
Yeah, so if you missed this year, you can always get next year because this is an annual event that keeps happening here in Valemount. And yeah, basically the long and short of it, Marcy, is the more you look at the visitor guide here in Valemount, the more you realize there's a heck of a lot of events going on.
There's always new events coming up as well that may not make it to the guide, but they're always going to be on our website. And that is visitvalemount.ca.
Perfect. Well, as they say, let the mountains move you, and it's in the middle of everywhere. So Valemount, this is the place to be.
It certainly is, and to come for a few days and to come check out all of our seasons as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, come check it out here in Valemount, and yeah, who knows? Maybe you'll be just as well fed as the salmon. The people here are very hospitable, and I mean, I know why the salmon come back, just to give them a little wave of thanks, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Marcy. Thanks for your time today.
You're welcome. Thanks.
As you can see here at UNBC, the signs are up and it's convocation season. It's a 32nd convocation going to be happening this week up here at Canada's Green University in Prince George. And then they take the show on the road and they travel through the Northwest, Quesnel, Fort St. John. But there's more than just convocation ceremonies they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing First Nations graduation celebrations as well, which involves the Red Stole. We're going to learn about the Red Stole today and celebrate the graduating class of 2025. The red stoles are out, and First Nations graduation celebrations are coming up here at the University of Northern BC. So I'd like to be joined by Penina Harding to talk a little bit about this today, because it's a super cool thing that you guys have been doing now for 16 years.
Yes, this is our 16th year. So I'm grateful that you're here to help us document the story of the red stole. This actually began in 2009 when Paul Michel was our director in the First Nation Center here. And so he visited another graduation celebration somewhere down on the island, and he was inspired because he saw that their Indigenous students were receiving or wearing a red stole at their graduation celebration. And so he came back to UNBC and advocated for our own red stole. And so this logo that you see on our red stole is a logo that was designed by Gitxsan artist Trevor Angus.
Well-known friend of the show as well. Good guy.
Yes, very amazing guy. He's also alumni of UNBC.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so,
right. And he did the basketball jerseys too, right?
He did. He
Okay.
did the basketball jerseys, but our Timberwolves jerseys.
The Timberwolves, yes.
Yes, our Timberwolves. And so we've added, Paul Michel added the First Nation Center logo onto the red stole. And this will be our 16th year of gifting the red stole at the First Nation Center graduation celebration. And I'm so honored to be a part of this legacy. And these red stoles are really to celebrate Indigenous success.
I feel like this is a story maybe people have seen at ceremonies in the past or heard about the red stoles, whether it's high school, because I do a little bit of recognition there as well, who are here at the University of Northern BC and might not know the significance behind it. So talk to me a little bit about the color red and why that was chosen. Can you tell me a little bit of background on that?
Well, red is a color that the spirits or the ancestors can see. And so red is also a very popular color amongst Indigenous nations. At least here in the north, I can speak to that much. So red also stands out very vividly against our black regalia.
Yep.
So the cap and gown. But the idea here is that when we have the class photos on the ceremonial stairs, in the class photos, you can see who is an Indigenous graduate.
For you, being part of the First Nations Center, obviously being a champion of Indigenous students, what is that like to be part of that growing number of Indigenous students that keep finding success here at UNBC?
It's such an honor and it's a privilege to be a part of their journey. Even if myself or one of my team members in either the Office of Indigenous Initiatives or the First Nations Center, maybe we're only helping with some forms at one or two points throughout somebody's career, but we were a part of that journey, and we're here to be that support for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit students. And when we get to see them complete this goal, this major milestone in their lives, we know that we've been doing our part. We know that we've helped in some way. There are some students who've come into our spaces and they've needed more support. And to be a part of their journey really is such an honor. And we look forward to this celebration every year.
It's more than just Prince George. It's more than just this campus. The UNBC stretches far wider than that, and it continues throughout graduation season, I guess you could say, and there's red stoles being presented all over the north.
Yes, there are. So this is the second year that we will be gifting red stoles at our regional celebrations. And so I, as the Interim Associate Vice President Indigenous, will be joining the regional celebrations, and I will be bringing the red stoles with me this year to gift them to any First Nations, Métis, or Inuit graduates who would like to receive a red stole. And so this is exciting for me, that we're in a place where we can expand this vision and this celebration of Indigenous success to include our regional graduates.
Everything as far as Quesnel to of the Northwest as well.
Right, so we are going to Terrace, to Wilpussil Nishka Institute, Fort St. John, and Quesnel as well. So there's quite a few spaces I need to bring the stoles to.
And a call to action to end this, I wanted to get this in here, Penina, because it's important. You're looking for some Indigenous alumni, if they're interested to be, either if they didn't get a red stole, come and get one, or be part of the success going forward too.
Right. So I will be actually looking to reach out to our Indigenous alumni. So if this will require some coordination with our Alumni Association here at UNBC, but I would like to reconnect with our Indigenous alumni and offer the Red Stool to those who may not have received one for whatever reason, whether you graduated before 2009 or maybe you hadn't heard about the Red Stools before your convocation ceremony. This is something that I want to make right and that my team and I fully support doing. And so I need numbers. I need to know how many Red Stools we need to order.
Well, and as we all know, UNBC grads are very proud. So, and they're all over the north, including so many that we interact with every day. So yeah, thanks so much for your time today, Penina. I appreciate it. Great education about the history behind the Red Stool, the significance, and yeah, I guess there's the only thing left to say is happy graduation season.
Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2025.
You earned it.
Campus Connections is brought to you by the University of Northern British Columbia, where the North inspires new ways of thinking.
Taking a look outside at today's CKPG Snapshot from Terry Miller today. Spent a few days trying to get a glimpse of the iconic Northern Flicker on his morning walk near the CN Center. And yeah, finally got one here, Terry. That Northern Flicker is a bane to many if it lives nearby your house, but it is nice to see in the wild, that's for sure. Watch out for those guys pecking the holes in the side of your house, building, roof. CKPG might have an experience or two to share about that. But anyways, thanks so much, Terry, for sharing that photo. If you have one to share, send it our way. Snapshot@ckpg.com. Taking a look back to the year 2000, a parachute fire crew hopes to prove their worth. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the Parattack crew. You may know now there's one based in Mackenzie and in Fort St. John. 14-member crew. I think it's a bit bigger today, actually, but very important crew for the BC Wildfire Service. They definitely have proved their worth over the years. Fun fact about their history here, if you read, it was actually created in 1998, based in Smithers. They actually moved them out of there because there wasn't enough work. So that's why I moved to Fort St. John and now Mackenzie as well. Pretty impressive feat. These guys jump and then fight fire wherever they land. That's how it works. Great stuff.